Hello, my name is Chris Cercio, and today I'm going to be discussing my research proposal on the effect of film and television on happiness. My research widely fell under the uses and gratifications theory, which states that we choose the content that we want to engage in because we have certain needs that we want to fulfill. This theory is apparent when we watch the evening news, for example. We have an individual need to be informed about what's going on around the world and in our community. Likewise, we watch, say, scary movies to be entertained and to escape from the realities of life. With that in mind, I found a lot of resources that explore this theory's relevance to studies similar to my own. One of these studies that I found that was really intriguing was a study conducted by Alice Hall in 2007, in which participants were given a scenario in which they were to pretend that they were moving into a dorm with a roommate that they didn't know. They were given the roommate's interest in genres of movies, television, and music, and were asked questions pertaining to their excitement in rooming with this person. What was really interesting was that something so innocuous as another person's preference in movies could yield such negative or positive responses from these participants. For example, comedy and action movies were met with positive reactions, while fringe genres such as anime and fantasy were met with more negative reactions. This has to do with uses and gratifications theories because one of the needs that is often cited is the need to socially fit in. So it could be inferred that a person may downplay their interest in anime if they know it will cause them to be alienated for it. Another study that I found that I thought was interesting was conducted by Jonathan Plucker, James Kaufman, Jason Temple, and Mei Hua-hsien in 2009. They tried to determine if experts and novices evaluate movies in the same way. They found that there was a creative gradation that blurred the lines between expert and novice, but that there was also a distinct difference in the important elements looked at between experts and novices. A novice is going to watch a movie for sheer enjoyment, whereas experts tend to break down more artistic choices of the film's cinematography or lighting or anything like that. It's relevant because the way that we evaluate something may be a factor for how we choose to engage in it in the first place. My experiment sought to find the effect that film and television has on happiness. Does film and television lead to happiness? Does the amount of exposure to film and television on a regular basis lead to happiness? And does the genre of film and television lead to a higher level of happiness? I believe that an experiment would yield a positive correlation between exposure to film and television and happiness. I also believe that more exciting genres such as action or comedy or even horror may lead to higher happiness than people who regularly watch, say, documentaries or historical dramas. As far as the experimental design goes, I was going to send an online survey out to students of Old Dominion, hoping for at least 100 participants. Obviously, more would be better and more representative. Ideally, we could attract participants by including a raffle for a prize for all people who submit their survey. A regression and correlation analysis would be conducted to analyze the data. I expect all my hypotheses to be supported. It's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion that film and television can lead to happiness, but by answering this question, the intended next step would be to expand on why that actually might be. I saw the survey as a means of opening the door, but there could be a number of experimental designs that could be created to test more specific hypotheses. Finally, the limitations of my survey are that I'm only actively pursuing students at Old Dominion. While these 18 to 22-year-olds, assuming they're traditional students, fit squarely in the key demographic for what studios try to target, 18 to 35 males being the most coveted, it's only a piece of the puzzle. There are many other age groups, younger and older, that could yield potentially different results that are still equally as important. Also, typical limitations with surveys are relevant, such as a self-serving bias on the part of the participants to kind of exaggerate their responses to make themselves look good. People always want to make themselves look good. That's all I have on this proposal presentation. Thank you for your time.